Today we're going to be making a 2-inch cube with horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines impressed into its surface. Okay, our standards for fine and complete and artistic work, and enduring understanding, artists and designers develop excellence through practice and constructive critique to reflect on revised and refined work over time. Process components: reflect, refine, and revise. And our performance standard is to reflect on, re-engage, revise, and refine works of art or design, considering relevant traditional and contemporary criteria, as well as personal artistic vision. So a little background on this is you're making a cube, and cubes, you can actually find cubic crystal structures in nature. And so here's some information on cubic crystal structures that you can read and find out about them and how those structures are arranged within the atomic form. And you see how atoms form crystals. Anyway, warm-up questions. Think about it. Name 2 crystals which form into cube structures. Okay, so on the basic level. And of course, we're still working with concepts of solid-wit. And we know that solid-wit use lines, geometric solids, yes, a cube, ratio, patterns, formulas, and permutations create his modern structures and wall paintings. So this assignment, you're going to use a piece of paper from your sketchbook, or using a piece of copy paper or craft paper from a paper bag. You will create a template for cutting out your cube shapes. Follow the directions in the video and see the diagram of what your template should look like. Draw your horizontal, vertical, and diagonal lines onto your paper. Okay, so, and then you will have a picture of that. Create a 2-inch by 2-inch cube using a 1/2-inch clay slab that is 10 inches by 6 inches in sides, so you have plenty of clay to work with. Once you have your template outline cut, with your template on the clay, mark all of your lines at their endpoints on the clay. That way you can impress your lines properly. Take your impressing tool and impress corresponding lines in the clay. Remove excess clay, separate your parts, and follow the directions. Bevel the inside edges of your joining edges at a 45-degree angle and score and slip them together. Clean up your lines on your cube and make sure your base is flat when it is standing. You must use a straight edge tool to make clean, straight cuts in your clay, as well as impressing tool like a bamboo skewer. Okay, this is what your diagram will look like on your paper. Okay, side 1, horizontal, 2, vertical, 3, diagonal, 4, another diagonal, opposite, and then the top is a diagonal. Okay, so that's what your template will look like. You should have a flap here, flap here, flap here, come off a 1/2 inch on each side. And these are 2 inches by 2 inches. Okay, everything is on the 2-inch. This is what your cut out template will look like on your clay. Okay, that's what it looks like. And then make your marks here, 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 so that you know where to go and put your stuff in later. And this is what your form will look like when it's completed. Okay, similar to this. And I'm letting this dry right now, and I'm going to come back in and clean up some of the little things that are messed up. But it's got to look good. It's got to be uniform in shape. Okay, submit your assignment as your period number, last name, first name, SLC 5, example 1 Doe Jane SLC 5, and you need 2 photographs. 2 photographs should be submitted as a PDF file made using Google Slides. Okay, and here's your rubric for art. Please follow every direction to the fullest extent. Completed artwork is exceptionally neat. It's got to be neat. You got to make this look tight. If it means you got to take your picture, submit a few pictures, to me. I want to have 2 pictures of it, the top and the bottom and the sides, and it needs to be hollow inside. It cannot be solid. Okay, do not do that. Make it like I tell you to make it. That way it will not crack, and when we eventually fire it, will be beautiful. Okay, student worked the entire period with superior focus and did not need reminders to stay on task. Of course, you're going to work and get this done. Student has exceeded expectations of his or her ability level. So we're going to be making a cube, and I would be coming in 1.5 inches from the edge here. Okay, this is 1.5 inches. All right, that's 1.5 inches. All right, 1.5 inches. Start like this. Now I have this device. This is actually 1.5 inches. See that? It's about 1.5 inches right there. Okay, so that's why I'm doing this. I'm just going to keep it consistent in everything that I do. I know what I'm doing. Put that down. I'm going to make my line. Okay. This is slightly under, but I'm not going to say anything about that. Okay, so you're going to be making a 2-inch cube out of one piece of paper. And you're going to be, first thing is to make it. So we measure 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. Make sure we got all measurements right. 2, 4, 6. Using something that is square, this is 90 degrees, I'm going to come off of this line, we'll put this over here, and I'm going to draw my verticals. My vertical lines. Okay. The vertical line. Do another one. Make sure everything's lined up perfectly as possible, because you're supposed to be neat and exact in everything you do on these assignments. Now measure 2 inches up this mark from your bottom, your baseline, from 0. And then you have this line. Now you're going to take your straight edge and you're going to run a line out across. I'm going to make this my top of my cube, and I'm measuring 2 inches here because my line already is coming out here, so I figure why not, right? Because I already have those lines. I don't want to be drawing more lines if I don't have to. Now I take my straight edge, this is straight edge here, and I measure across here. Right? Now I need a flap on this side and this side, because when I fold everything together, it needs to be able to be glued or taped. So I'm going to come down a 1/2 inch, come out a 1/2 inch here. When you do this assignment, side 1 will be horizontal. Lines will come across, multiple lines. Side 2, vertical. This will be vertical lines. These will be vertical lines. Side 3 will be a diagonal line that goes like this. Diagonals going like this. Side 4 will have diagonal lines going the opposite way, meeting up with this one. And the top will be a diagonal. You have a diagonal coming across like that. Now, we're going to draw this. Okay, so this is going to be horizontal lines. So I'm going to start out at the top, and they're going to be 1/8, keep them about 1/8 of an inch apart, just like you've been doing on all of your assignments. Right, thereabouts. This one is done. Okay, the second one will be vertical. Okay, so I'm using this, I'm going to use a CD case for my straight edge. It seems to be a little better. This is not giving me exact lines. I'm not really crazy about this, so I wouldn't be using this anymore. This will be diagonal lines going this way. So, and just so that to reiterate, this is all 2 inches. Each one of these from here to here is 2 inches. 2 inches. I'm going to come in here like this. This comes in at 2 inches as well. Come off of this line. I want to see exactly what I'm doing here. So I can go here like this. I want to make sure everything lines up. Now I'm done with this. Okay, so now this is a flap. Okay. This is a flap. I could actually put a flap over here. I'm going to put a flap over here as well. It's going to really help us when we do our final thing. So I'm going to just run a line over here like this. Now I'm going to cut this out. Now, when you're working with your clay, okay, you're going to place this down as a template onto your actual paper, okay? And so you're going to need to take your flaps here and fold them over, okay, when you do that. Because you're also going to have this as a model for what your object should look like, your cube that you're making. So this is a good amount of clay to do this project with. Right, here you go. And you're going to mush this out to 1/2 inch thickness. Right. Roll it out. Roll it out to 1/2 inch thickness. Right. So this now will come onto here. This is your template. You're going to mark your edges, all of your lines, so that you can do perfect lines. Okay, so I've cut my lines here. I cut my lines, and now what I'm going to do is I want to know where my impressions are going to go. I'm going to actually go into the middle of each one of these lines here, so that we know, and that's where I will place my stick or whatever tool you're using to get your lines, because we want things to be exact as possible when you're doing this, right? Before you do any cutting or anything of this shape, you need to use this tool, and you need to be looking at your template, what you're doing, okay, where your lines go. So you're going to have a line here, right? You can have a line here, and you impress with your tool. Some of you are going and scoring like this. That's not how you do it. Do it this way, please, because this is how you get perfect lines. putting my template back on here, I see that this needs to be totally straight. So I use my template to make sure I got a nice straight line there. And over here, because it mushed out slightly, okay, when I did this. This is what I'm left with. Now I'm going to cut my edge here. I'm going to cut it through. Okay, so when I do my beveled edge, okay, I cut in like this. Okay, that is a beveled edge. Okay, that is a beveled edge. You see it has an angle on it. This is the top, so I need to put another beveled edge on it. And be careful as you're cutting it. You don't mess your clay up. It's getting a little messed up. We can fix it later. Do another beveled edge over here. And you're going to do this on each one of your bottom pieces. Okay? Each one. Beveled edge, beveled edge, beveled edge, flat edge. This is flat because that's the bottom. It's going to stand up like this. This is the top piece, so it needs to have a beveled edge on each side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and remember where you put it. But you're going to need to score each side a little bit and put some slip on it when you join it together. And I got my slip here. I'm going to put a little bit of slip on here. Okay, prepare all your pieces before. Don't do it one by one. You want to do everything assembly line fashion. This is my final one. This is the top. I'm just scoring everything so it's ready. I got paper on there, it's stuck to it. Your final piece comes on top like this. Now, if it's not fitting properly, maybe you just have to mush down a little bit with it. So, I'm gonna sponge it a little bit with slightly damp. That's it. Okay, slightly, and I'm shaping it with my finger. I'm being very gentle. Okay, this is why you need to use a tool, because otherwise you can't fix things properly, right? You already know where your lines are, right? And you want to get nice, you want your lines to be good. This is a little messed up here, so I'm going to remove a little bit of material. All right, and I'm using you've got it cleaned up. I think that's looking good for this. And so now what you want to do is you want to give it a little bit of time to dry, to dry out a little bit. It'll lose some moisture. And then you can go back into it and fix it. Make sure it's square as possible. Let's take a measuring tape to it, see how it looks. It's about 2 and 2 and an eighth. That's pretty good. Yeah, we're hovering around 2 and an eighth approximately.